September, early September. Hallswell Old Tytack Road was rocked by the earthquake, and we saw the mess. It was an absolute shambles. I went out to find how Brent Rawstron has recovered since the earthquake.
Yeah, look, we've had lots of problems. We've had a huge amount of work just to stay in business. But there is life after the earthquake. Well, which last earthquake? Was it the one that was 10 o'clock this morning or the one last September? Yeah, it's still there, but we've had a lot of help from a lot of people.
So who has helped to bail you out, because you've come a long way?
Well, not so much bail us out, but we were about to open this Frankston Centre. We were sort of 4 or 5 days away from being completed. And the old building that it's attached to is a write-off, and the new building's fine. It just shows that well-engineered new buildings will stand up in this sort of particularly prone area. So the first thing we did was we went to see Selwyn District Council, and they were outstanding, just simply outstanding. The head of the building department, Vanessa Bevan, just went out of her way to try and find ways to allow us to open, simply because we had brides booked, for weddings within days of the earthquake. So we needed to find a way of getting open, and they were outstanding.
What about other damage? I mean, the road and the river both copped it.
Oh, the road took a hammering, which of course affected our business at the restaurant dramatically, because people just couldn't get to it because the road was sort of down to less than a quarter of its width. The river was very, very severely damaged, but ECAN have done a superb job of putting it back to the level it was. We've all had to cooperate to allow them to come onto our property to remove trees so they can get access to the river. But they've done a superb job, and they've cleaned up afterwards like there's no tomorrow. Really, really, really impressive how ECAN have handled it. Obviously, we've been very, very grateful to our bank. At the end of the day, we've had to fund it all because we're waiting for the insurance process to go through. But the bank's just been really, really good. So I suspect that so far out of our own funding, we've probably put in $85,000 worth of repairs to our infrastructure here on our own property. It's insurable, it is insured, but we're still negotiating with the insurance company to get it back.
Yeah, the thing is, you would have been paying interest on the money that the bank very kindly made available for you.
Absolutely. Look, there's no winner at the end of this, Rob. We've had a lot of people who have helped us, and we're back to operating, etc., etc. But you're never going to get your full money back. You just have to accept that you're going to be out of pocket, and whether you're out of pocket 50,000 or 100,000 on a project like that we'll find out in the long term.
When I saw you just after the earthquake, you were talking in shorthand, but you've probably found other things since then as well.
Oh, for instance, we hadn't ventured terribly much past our buildings and the immediate infrastructure, like our roading and bridges that were completely destroyed. As you know, we lost 3 bridges. We were able to salvage one of those. One of them is a complete rebuild. But one thing we found about a week later, because it was winter, you didn't go into your vineyard very much, but all the end assemblies at the far end of the vineyard just behind us all popped out of the ground. A big earthquake crack went straight through where all the end assemblies were. They all just lifted out of the ground. Well, luckily it was that time of the year, not this time of the year with the weight of the vines on it. But just to go through and put all brand new end assemblies in, because you had to move it and shorten the rows up so we were in fresh ground, because you couldn't drive into a ground that's got a big crack in it. And the whole deal, that's all another 15,000 out the door. It just had to be done. You couldn't delay it, you couldn't put it off, it just had to be done. And likewise our bridges and our roadways and our access, you just had to go and do it.
So where to from here? And it looks as though you just all systems go.
Well, it is all systems go. And to be quite fair, the insurance company had a person out to see us yesterday. We've been inspected, like we've been super inspected here. But we've now got all the files with one person. He's an account manager as such. And we had a really good meeting yesterday, and they're really being very helpful. And I have to say that all the people involved of the 4 severe, sort of complete inspections we've had, have been great people, really great people to deal with. So no, it's just a matter of working through the issues and getting our claims in and getting them sorted. But because we've been here a long, long time, as you know, and we've got multiple properties and multiple damage here. So we had sort of heaps of files, and we had 4 files, and getting them all bolted together we needed one person to take in charge of Rossendale, as it were. And they've done that, and so it's onward and upward as far as we're concerned.
You're looking a hell of a lot more relaxed than you were last time I saw you.
Yeah, I was pretty fraught. I think everyone who had severe doubt, I think everyone sort of wandered around that Saturday thinking, gosh, what's hit us? Luckily it was a lovely sunny day, a frosty morning, beautiful sunny day, not much wind, sun on your back, you felt quite good, even though you were sort of numb at what's happened. But by Sunday, we're on our earth moving equipment and just had to get into it, we just had to make a start. So yeah, we were pretty frazzled then. I think when we saw you, we were had a wedding in sort of 5 days' time, and we just didn't have a venue at that stage. So it all happened. The bride and groom were ecstatic. They couldn't believe how much we could do in 5 days, but it was just the way it is.
And how's the conference centre working?
Oh, it's really good, really, really good. It's one of those facilities that, because we'd run at Lansdowne and obviously the restaurant for 15 years, Lansdowne for 10 years, we had identified areas that were sort of missing in that sort of conference facilities, certainly in the South Island. Size was one, scale that you could have up to 200 people in one room, etc., etc. Good car parking on site and just all the facilities, good toilet facilities that can handle that sort of number of people easily, and the kitchen space to allow you to put the food out in a timely manner. And so all those sort of things we're able to do by the experience of having tried to run operations for 10 to 15 years and say, right, well, we'll design or build one that's exactly what we want to do.